إن الحمد لله نحمده ونستعينه ونستغفره ونعوذ بالله من شرور أنفسنا ومن سيئات أعمالنا من يهديه الله فلا مضل له ومن يضلل فلا هادي له أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وحده لا شريك له وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله حق تقاته ولا تموتن إلا وأنتم مسلمون يا أيها الناس اتقوا ربكم الذي خلقكم من نفس واحدة وخلق منها زوجها وبث منهما رجالا كثيرا ونساء واتقوا الله الذي تساءلون به والأرحام إن الله كان عليكم رقيبا يا أيها الذين آمنوا اتقوا الله وقولوا قولا سديدا يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم يصلح لكم أعمالكم ويغفر لكم ذنوبكم ومن يطع الله ورسوله فقد فاز فوزا عظيما أما بعد السلام عليكم ورحمة الله وبركاته. All praise belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, who has given us yet another opportunity to continue our study session in the Kitaab Fiqhu al-Ibaadaat, the jurisprudence of worship of Shaykh Muhammad bin Salih al-Uthaymeen rahmatullahi alayhi. This is our fifth lesson, and today is the fifth day in the month of Rabi'un al-Awwal 1440 after the historic hijrah of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam from Mecca to Medina, which is equivalent to the 14th day in the month of November 2018, the Christian era. Last week, the question that was asked was Ma hiya anwa' tawheed? What are the categories of tawheed? Ma tawdih wal amthila lidhalik. That please there should be clarification and example given under these three categories of tawheed. And al-jawab, the answer that was given is that anwa' at-tawheed bin nisbati lillahi azza wa jal tadkhulu kullaha fi ta'rif am, and that it has the general definition, which is huwa ifradullahi subhanahu wa ta'ala bima yakhtassu bihi. That is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High, with those things that are particular to Him. And that they are three. وَهُوَ ثَلَاثَةُ أَنْوَاء. We have three categories of Tawheed. Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, Tawheed al-Asma'i was-Sifat, Tawheed al-Uluhiyyah. Then we took Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. We had the definition and the example given under Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, and from amongst the definition of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, we said Tawheed al-Rububiyyah as what? Three pillars. Note it down. You should be jotting. This is an academic environment. You should be jotting. If you don't have your paper and pen, use your handset and start jotting. We are learning here. This is not a lecture that you just, even in lectures, you should be jotting, because I want you to understand this and I want you to teach others. This is a very vital key thing, the issue of Tawheed. So bring out your phones, open the notepad and start jotting. We said Tawheed is what? Huwa ifradullahi ta'ala bima yakhtassu bihi. Tawheed is what? Is to single Allah out, the one free of all imperfections. With what? With all that is particular to Allah. Only Allah has those things. So you single out Allah. That is the definition of Tawheed. Singling out Allah, the one that is free of all imperfections. You single out Allah with all those things that are particular to Him. And we say they are three. Tawheed has three categories. The first category of Tawheed is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. And we say Tawheed al-Rububiyyah وَهُوَ إِفْرَادُ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى بِالْخُلْقِ وَالْمُلْكِ وَالتَّدْبِيرِ. It is what? It is to single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with creation, sovereignty, al-mulk, and the control of affairs. Only Allah does that. This is Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Then, these three things that are made mention of under Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, they are known as the pillars of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Pillars. They are the pillars of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. These pillars, as we have seen from the definition, are what? Creation, mulk, sovereignty, tadbir, what? Al-Mudabbir, that is the controller of affairs. These are the three pillars of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Do you understand? Are you following? The three pillars of what? Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Then last week we went through the first pillar of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. What is that first pillar of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah? I'm listening. What is the first pillar of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah? Naam? Khalq. Creation. Then what is the second pillar of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, which we are going to treat today? Mulk, sovereignty, mulki, sovereignty. What is that? What is that? The second pillar. Sheikh said, Thaniyan, the second one, the second pillar of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Ifradullahi ta'ala bil mulki. فالله تعالى وحده هو المالك. The second pillar of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is that Allah, the Most High, is singled out with sovereignty, mulki, sovereignty. Only Allah, it belongs to Allah alone. That is why Allah said, لِمَنِ الْمُلُكُ الْيَوْمِ. The entire sovereignty belongs to Allah. Mulki na Allah ne. Mulki, sovereignty. Allah is the sole owner, the sovereign, the control, the only sovereign being. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala's sovereignty is absolute. So you single out Allah the Most High with sovereignty, and this means the implication of this singling out Allah in sovereignty is that Allah exalted He is the sole owner. Allah is the sole owner. You know, this handset, Ya Sheikh Masmuk, what's your name? Suleiman. This handset belongs to what? Suleiman. You know? Oh, and the house of the handset of Suleiman does not belong to another person. Even though the other person also has what belongs to him, what he has, abande mallaka. But is it absolute? Because you cannot claim, I can't claim your asset now, because my sovereignty, if this pencil is mine, or this handset is mine and this is yours, I can't claim yours and you can't claim mine. But everything belongs to Allah. Everything, that is the sovereignty. The absolute sovereignty, the sole ownership of everything is Allah. Everything belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. كما قال تعالى, as He, the Most High. Who is the Most High? Who is the Most High, please? You know, this is a class. Who is the Most High? Allah. كما قال تعالى, as He, the Most High, has said, تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. تبارك الذي بيده الملك وهو على كل شيء قدير. Blessed be He in whose hand is the dominion, sovereignty, dominion. Blessed be He in whose hand is the dominion, and He is able to do all things. Allah is able to do all things. وَعَلَى كُلِّ شَيْءٍ قَدِيرٍ. Allah is able to do all things. This is part of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah, the second pillar of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. Allah, mulk, sovereignty belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But Allah said, Tabaraka alladhi biyadihi al-mulk. Blessed be he in whose hand is the dominion. Imam al-Baghawi in his tafsir, whenever Allah praises himself, whenever Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, blessed be Allah, or Allah said, Alhamdulillah, ta'liman li khalqihi, it is teaching. Allah is teaching us. It is a reminder to us. It is a form of teaching us to praise Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. And to know that the most blessed is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. That Allah, all blessings belong to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Blessed be he in whose hand is the dominion. The same thing in Surah Al-Mulk. Tabaraka alladhi na'am wa huwa ala kulli shay'in qadir. Then Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, wa qala ta'ala, he the most I said, qul man biyadihi malakutu kulli shay'in wa huwa yujiru wa la yujaru alayhi. Allah is asking, ask them, ya Muhammad, qul, khitab li nabihi sallallahu alayhi wasallam. Allah is telling the Prophet sallallahu alayhi wasallam, qul, say to them, man biyadihi malakutu kulli shay'in wa huwa yujiru wa la yujaru alayhi. In whose hand is the sovereignty of everything. We say sovereignty belongs to Allah. Allah said to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, say, ask them, in whose hand is the sovereignty of everything, and he protects all, while against whom there is no protector. If you know who, what is the answer? Kul man biyadihi malakutu samawati wal ard. Kul man biyadihi, I'm asking you, man biyadihi malakutu samawati wal ard wa huwa yujiru wa la yujaru alayhi. What is going to be your jawab? Raise up your voice. Allah. Kul. When you are saying, when the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, the same thing, the answer is what? Allah. And I'm asking you, man biyadihi malakutu samawati wal ard wa huwa yujiru wa la yujaru alayhi. He protects all, and against whom there is no protector. Who? Man. Allah. Say the name of Allah aloud. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High. فالملك أي فالمالك فالمالك الملك المطلق العام الشامل هو الله سبحانه وتعالى. Shaykh Uthaymeen, he said, so the one to whom belongs the absolute mutlaq, al-mulk al-mutlaq. Kung aka ce maka mutlaq, absolute, so the one to whom belongs the absolute and all-comprehensive sovereignty, that is al-mulk al-mutlaq al-am al-shamil, absolute sovereignty and comprehensive sovereignty, the one that is all-encompassing, yani al-shamil, wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala, wallahu subhanahu wa ta'ala is who? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Shaykh Uthaymeen, he said, وَنِسْبَةُ الْمُلْكِ إِلَى غَيْرِهِ نسبة إضافية فقد أثبت الله تعالى لغيره الملك كما في قوله تعالى أو ما ملكتم مفاتحه وقوله تعالى إلا على أزواجهم أو ما ملكت أيمانهم. Allah has attributed sovereignty, mulk, ownership to other than him, but here we say absolute ownership belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. A comprehensive type of ownership, a comprehensive type of sovereignty, and all-encompassing sovereignty belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But anyone that has ownership of anything besides Allah, that type of ownership is not mutlaq, it's not absolute. That type of ownership is not shamila, it is not all-encompassing. It is deficient. Allah told us about this type of ownership in the Quran. Allah said, أَوْ مَا مَلَكْتُمْ مِنَ الْمُلْكِ أَوْ مَا مَلَكْتُمْ مَفَاتِحَ أَوْ صَدِيقِكُمْ. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, he said, there is no fault that you should eat in your houses or from that wherein you hold keys. You are the owners of that key, you hold keys. How ma malaktum mafatiha, keys. Malaktum, you hold. So this type of ownership is not mutlaq. This type of ownership is not shamil, it's not comprehensive. This type of ownership is naqis. It is deficient. It is not comprehensive. Unlike the ownership of Allah. We have a golden rule. What is that golden rule? Quran chapter 42 verse 11. لَيْسَ كَمِثْلِهِ شَيْءٌ وَهُوَ السَّمِيعُ الْبَصِيرُ. There is nothing unto Allah that is like Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. It's all hearer, all seer. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says, إِلَّا عَلَىٰ أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ. And those who guard their chastity, Allah is describing the believers. Those who guard their chastity, in Surah Al-Mu'minun, قَدْ أَفْلَحَ الْمُؤْمِنُونَ الَّذِينَ هُمْ فِي صَلَاتِهِمْ خَاشِعُونَ. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala was describing, and Allah came to the point where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, إِلَّا عَلَىٰ أَزْوَاجِهِمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكْتُمْ أَوْ مَا مَلَكَتْ أَيْمَانُهُمْ فَإِنَّهُمْ غَيْرُ مَلُومِينَ. And those who guard their chastity, except from their wives or the captives and slaves that their right hands possess. Sunni, ownership, they are the masters. How ma malakat aymanuhum fa innahum ghayru malumin. In that case, they are not what? They are what? They are not to be blamed. What type of ownership is this? Can you compare this ownership with قُلْ مَنْ بِيَدِهِ مَلَكُوتُ السَّمَاوَاتِ وَالْأَرْضِ وَهُوَ يُجِيرُ وَلَا يُجَارُ عَلَيْهِ? Can you compare this type of ownership with the ownership of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala? No. Why? Shaykh said, وَمَا أَشْبَأُ ذَلِكَ مِنَ النُّصُوصِ الدَّالَةِ عَلَىٰ أَنَّ لِغَيْرِ اللَّهِ تَعَالَى mulkan. Shaykh said, and there are similar verses of the Quran, nusus. There are similar verses of the Quran that are pointing towards and that are proving to us that someone other than Allah may have dominion, may have, ownership over something. But what? Lakin هذا الملك ليس كملك الله تعالى عز وجل فهو ملك قاصر وملك مقيد ملك قاصر لا يشمل. He said, let me explain this type of ownership. We said when it comes to Tawheed, yuwahid, wahad, you have joined only Allah, huwa ifradullahi ta'ala bima yakhtassu bihi. And we say al-mulk yakhtassu bihi. It is particular to Allah. But what type of mulk? What type of sovereignty? What type of dominion? Absolute type of dominion. A comprehensive type of dominion. Nobody has this type of dominion. Only Allah has it. So when it comes to Allah, only Allah has the type of the things that Allah has. Nobody creates like Allah. Nobody has the type of dominion. Nobody's sovereignty is like that of Allah. So when we talk of ownership that belongs to other than Allah, that type of ownership is what? Laysa kamulkillah. It is not the type, it is unlike the ownership of Allah. It is unlike the sovereignty of Allah. What type of sovereignty is this? فَهُوَ مُلْكٌ قَاسِرٌ. This type of, sovereignty is what? Inadequate. That is qasir. It is inadequate. Qasir. Inadequate type of sovereignty. It is lacking in something. Qasir. Wa mulk muqayyad. It is restricted. The emir of Zazzau, the emir of Kano, the emir of Bidda, the emir of the Sultan of Sokoto, he has the restriction. The emir of Kano has the restriction. The emir of Dutse, the emir of all these emirs, they have restriction. You have restriction in your ownership. This person has restriction in his ownership. It is restricted, muqayyad, qasir, inadequate, not absolute. Not only is it that It is what mulkun qasir la yashmil. This type of dominion, it is an incomprehensive type of dominion. It is not absolute, it is not comprehensive. Bai game ko ina ba. Kusan mulkin Allah ya gama ko ina, kudu da gabas ina, gabas da arewa, kudu da yamma. Up and down. The mulk of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is all encompassing. Is it the same with the mulk? Is it the same with the ownership of us that have ownership of things? Sheikh now is giving us example. فَالْبَيْتُ الَّذِي لِزَيْدٍ لَا يَمْلِكُهُ عَمْرٌ وَالْبَيْتُ الَّذِي لِعَمْرُ لَا يَمْلِكُهُ زَيْدٍ. The house that belongs to Zayd. The house that belongs to Zayd does not belong to Amr. And the house that belongs to Amr does not belong to Zayd. But it's their ownership. This is his house. But can he lay claim to another person's house? Which means it is restricted. The ownership is only restricted to that thing that belongs to him. He cannot claim ownership of what belongs to another person. But we say everything belongs to Allah. Allahu Akbar. Allahu Akbar. The majesty. Tawheed. Tawheed. But you need to understand this type of tawheed in details. We are spending time to understand this type of tawheed because the knowledge of this tawheed will not take you to Jannah. This type of tawheed that we're discussing will not take you to Jannah if you stop at this tawheed. It is the other type of tawheed that this knowledge will enable you to appreciate. If you understand this tawheed, it will take you to appreciate the other type of tawheed. And when you appreciate and implement the provisions of the other type of tawheed, Jannah is yours. But you have to understand this type of tawheed in total. Otherwise, you'll be lacking. So when we say Allah is alone in His sovereignty, it is not like the ownership of the honors of things of this dunya. ثم هذا الملك مقيد. Then this type of ownership, this type of sovereignty is what? Restricted, مقيد. بحيث لا يتصرف الإنسان فيما ملك إلا على الوجه الذي أذن الله فيه. فيما ملك. What you possess, what you own, this dominion is limited because you are restricted. You are unable to do whatever you like with the possession that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given to you. You are unable to do whatever you like with it except in a way that Allah has approved of. The wealth at your possession is yours. Oh, you have so amount of money in account, but Allah has placed an embargo on it. Don't spend this money this way. You have to spend this money in this particular way. In what way? وَبِتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ in Quran chapter 27. Quran 28:77, Surah Al-Qasas. وَبِتَغِ فِي مَا آتَاكَ اللَّهُ دَارَ الْآخِرَةِ وَلَا تَنْسَ نَصِيبَكَ مِنَ الدُّنْيَا وَأَحْسِنْ كَمَا أَحْسَنَ اللَّهُ إِلَيْكَ وَلَا تَبْغِ الْفَسَادَ فِي الْأَرْضِ إِنَّ اللَّهَ لَا يُحِبُّ الْمُفْسِدِينَ. It is your wealth, but Allah has restricted the way you spend it. It is your knowledge, but Allah has restricted the way you use that knowledge. It is your power, but Allah has restricted the way you use that power. So in essence, the sovereignty, the dominion of other than Allah is a restricted type of dominion. It is an incomprehensive type of dominion because Allah has placed an embargo on it. You have to use it the way Allah wants you to use it, the way that has been permitted by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. But when it comes to Allah's sovereignty, when it comes to the dominion of Allah, nobody dictates to Allah. There is no any jurisprudence against the orders of Allah. There is no any veto power against the orders of Allah. There is no any legislative power against the orders of Allah. Allah is absolute in His dominion. Allah's dominion, Allah's sovereignty is absolute. Unlike the Nigerian president cannot talk in Ghana the way he likes. Nigerian president cannot declare public holiday in another country. Nigerian president cannot declare curfew in another country. A governor of a state cannot declare curfew in another neighboring state, even though they are sharing border. It is restricted. But when Allah declares curfew in the entire world, nobody can veto Allah's orders. That is absolute type of sovereignty. That is the dominion we're talking about. That is Allah that we are introducing you to. Is it not interesting when you know Allah? May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala grant us the knowledge of knowing Him, such that that knowledge will be beneficial to us. This is Tawheed. وقال نعم ولهذا نعى النبي صلى الله عليه وسلم. And you know, I forgot to explain this part. وَنِسْبَةُ الْمُلْكِ إِلَى غَيْرِهِ نِسْبَةٌ إِضَافِيَّةٌ. Any type of ownership that has been attributed to other than Allah, that type of attribution is what? Idafiyah. It is relative. It is not absolute. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ has forbidden us, has prohibited us an ida'atil mal. An ida'atil mal. The Prophet ﷺ forbade the wasting of wealth. Don't waste your wealth. Spend it in a beneficial way. Ida'atul mal is one of the sins that the Prophet ﷺ made mention of. He has forbidden us from wasting our wealth. Spend it in a legitimate way. And Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High, Allah said, وَلَا تُؤْتُ السُّفَهَاءَ نعم وَلَا تُؤْتُ السُّفَهَاءَ. You know, those that have not, those that are not fully in control of their mental state, the foolish ones. Allah said, وَلَا تُؤْتُ السُّفَهَاءَ أَمْوَالَكُمُ الَّتِي جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ فِيهَا نعم قِيَامًا عفوا وَلَا تُؤْتُ السُّفَهَاءَ أَمْوَالَكُمُ الَّتِي جَعَلَ اللَّهُ لَكُمْ قِيَامًا. Allah said, give not unto the foolish your property that Allah has made a means of support for you. Unless that person is fully sober, unless that person is in control of his sanity, is matured, then give him his wealth, even when it comes to inheritance. Why? Because Allah has forbidden wastefulness when it comes to wealth. Is it not your wealth? You claim that it is your money, but Allah is controlling how you spend the money. So is that type of ownership absolute? Nobody controls how Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala deals with us, his creation. But Allah controls how we deal with what He has given to us of possession. And that is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, who can give me the verse? Al-Hadid. Who can give me the verse? مِمَّا رَزَقْنَاكُمْ مِمَّا جَعَلَكُمْ مُسْتَخْلَفِينَ فِيهِ. Al-Istikhlaf. Believe in Allah and His Messenger and spend in that which we have made you temporary trustees to, temporary possessors. You are the possessor of this money, but Allah is telling you how to spend the money. Hence, your sovereignty, your dominion over even your house, your brain, everything that you think you possess, Allah has put an embargo on it. You don't use it the way you like. وهذا دليل على أن ملك الإنسان ملك قاصر وملك مقيد بخلاف ملك الله سبحانه وتعالى فهو ملك عام شامل وملك مطلق يفعل الله سبحانه وتعالى ما يشاء ولا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. This is the type of sovereignty that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has. And this evidences that we are provided is a proof that the sovereignty, the dominion of man is inadequate. It is limited when you compare it to the sovereignty and the dominion of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Allah is free of all imperfection. That is subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Most High. The type of sovereignty that belongs to Allah, the dominion of Allah we've had, is what? All encompassing. It is comprehensive. It is absolute. Unrestricted. Yours is restricted. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala yaf'alu ma yasha. Allah does what He wills. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala does whatever He wants. Allah cannot be questioned as to what He does. While they, the mankind, we are going to be questioned. Can you question Allah in what is happening in this world? Can you say, why? Why me, God? Like the Christians do? Is it allowed for the Muslims to say, why me, God? No! يفعل الله سبحانه وتعالى ما يشاء ولا يسأل عما يفعل وهم يسألون. We mankind, the mankind, they are going to be questioned. Allah is going to question us. The way you sit down here, are you sitting for the sake of Allah? Am I speaking for the sake of Allah? Allah will question me. Am I teaching you for the sake of Allah? Allah will question me. But am I going to question Allah? Abadan. Mustahil, impossibility. May Allah guide us. الركن الثالث من أركان التوحيد الربوبية أن الله تعالى منفرد بالتدبير فهو سبحانه وتعالى الذي يدبر الخلق، يدبر أمر السماوات والأرض، كما قال الله سبحانه وتعالى ألا له الخلق والأمر تبارك الله رب العالمين. The third type, the third pillar of Tawheed Rububiyyah. How many pillars did we say Tawheed Rububiyyah has? How many pillars? 3. Who can mention these 3 pillars? Whether in unison or individually. Let's hear the three pillars of Tawheed Rububiyyah. Now, Khalq, creation. What is the second one? Mulk. And that is what? Sovereignty and dominion. What is the third one? Tadbir, control of affairs. And whenever you hear Tawheed Rububiyyah, then bring to mind that it has 3 pillars. These are the 3 pillars that we just made mention of now. And we're treating the third part of the Tawheed Rububiyyah, the third pillar. And that is what? To single out Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala with what? Tadbir. And that is the control of all affairs. The control of all affairs. Your remote control controls the affairs of your television. You know, Allah is bigger than that. I'm just giving you example with what you do at home. But does it control the television of your neighbor? You control the affairs of your house. You decide when the gate is going to be shut. You decide when the generator is going to be put on and when it's going to be put off. You buy food, you decide what to eat. But can you do that in another person's house? Can you control the affairs of another person's house? But when it comes to Allah, the Creator, you don't compare Allah to any of His creation. No, in perfect sense. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is the controller of all affairs, and this is the third pillar of Tawheed Rububiyyah. Hence, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the one that is free of all imperfection. Point of note. Whenever you hear subhanahu wa ta'ala, subhanahu, that is the one that is free of all imperfection. So whatever you are attributing to Allah, you know that that attribute is a perfect attribute, because Allah is free of all imperfection. Whenever I attribute anything to you, that thing that I attributed to you is an imperfect attribute, because you'll be found wanting in it. Justice. You can call someone a just person, but this type of justice is what? A limited type of justice. The absolute justice belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Alaysa kadhalik. Hence, Allah is the one who controls the affairs of the creation. He disposes the affairs of the heavens and the earth. The affairs of the heavens and the earth are disposed only by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Nobody controls. Nobody decides when it's going to rain. Nobody decides who is going to die. Nobody decides where earthquake is going to occur. Nobody decides where you're going to have a hurricane. Nobody decides who is going to be wealthy. Nobody decides who is going to be poor. Nobody decides who is going to be healthy, and nobody decides who is going to be sick. The affairs of the heavens and the earth are controlled by Allah alone. Nobody shares in the control of these affairs. Babu, nobody shares. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. There is no any prior consultation before decision making when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. In terms of control of affairs, there is no prior consultation before decision making. Allah is absolute decision maker. Your president has to consult. Your governor has to consult. Your emir has to consult. Even the prophets, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, وَشَاوِرْهُمْ فِي الْأَمْرِ. Consult them in matters. فَإِذَا عَظَمْتَ فَتَوَكَّلْ عَلَى اللَّهِ. When you have made your decisions, then depend on Allah. But does Allah depend on anything or anyone? No! Even the prophets have to depend on Allah after making decision. So the decision of Allah is absolute. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وَهَذَا التَّدْبِيرُ تَدْبِيرٌ شَامِلٌ لَا يَحُولُ دُونَهُ شَيْءٌ وَلَا يُعَارِضَهُ شَيْءٌ والتدبير الذي يكون لبعض المخلوقات كتدبير الإنسان أمواله وغلمانه وخدمه وما أشبه ذلك هو تدبير الضيق محدود ومقيد غير مطلق فظهر بذلك صحة قولنا إن توحيد الربوبية هو إفراد الله تعالى بالخلق والملك والتدبير فهذا هو التوحيد الربوبية. I explain. Sheikh said, because of the reason that the control of affairs that belongs to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is absolute, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, Ala lawul khalqu wal amru tabarakallahu rabbul alameen. This verse, if you are following our lessons, let me read the verse again. Ala lawul khalq wal amr tabarakallahu rabbul alameen. What do you understand from this Quran chapter 7 verse 54? What do you understand? If you are following this lesson, or if you don't understand, then maybe I will take it again. Allah said, Ala lawul khalq wal amr, surely His is the creation and dominion, sovereignty. Tabarakallahu Rabbul Alameen, and commandment. Tabarakallahu Rabbul Alameen, blessed be He, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, the Lord of the worlds. What is this? Allahu Akbar, Allah yubarak fik. So when someone is arguing that, Tawheed Rububiyyah does not, there is no any category of Tawheed. You have some people with that aqidah that Tawheed does not have all these categories. So no, we have discussed it in our previous lesson. We are not going back to that. But now, look at the evidence you have. You are well equipped now from Quran. What is your evidence for the three pillars of Tawheed Rububiyyah? Ala lawul khalq wal amr tabarakallahu rabbul alamin. Quran chapter 7 verse 54. Khalas. This is Quran equipping you with intellectual weapon. This is not physical weapon. This is intellectual weapon that you're going to use against any form of ignorance that comes your way. Equip yourself with the knowledge of Quran and Sunnah so that you can enjoy living and so that you can be the torchbearer of, guidance amongst people. What is up with anyone that preaches is what? Hidayatul Bayan. You can only explain to people evidence, but you cannot guide people. Only Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guides people, and that is Hidayatul Tawfiq. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala guide us. May Allah make us among the guided ones. Sheikh now said, At-tadbir, tadbiru shamil. The control of Allah, that Allah has the control of all affairs. This type of control is a comprehensive type of control. La yahulu dunahu shay. Nothing can prevent or oppose it. Wala yu'aridahu shay. Nothing can oppose it. That was what I explained earlier. If the president submits something to National Assembly, they can oppose the president. He wants to control the economic affair of Nigeria, but he comes with a policy that he has to take to National Assembly, and they can oppose him. But who opposes Allah? That type of control of affairs that we see amongst human beings is a restricted type of control of affairs. But when it comes to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, وهذا التدبير تدبير الشامل لا يحول دونه شيء ولا يعارضه شيء. والتدبير الذي يكون لبعض المخلوقات, and the type of control of the disposal of affairs that you see among the creatures, for example, كتدبير الإنسان أمواله, like a man's disposal of his wealth. Kudinka ba sai da kai ba, iya kudinka iya shagalinka. Da kudinka kana iya cin kilishin 5,000. Da kudinka kana iya cin kilishin 100 ma. Ka tara jama'a ka siya musu kilishi. Kudinka da iya kudinka iya shagalinka. But is it absolute? It is like your control of your children. Is it absolute? The control you have over your servants, is it absolute? وَمَا أَشْبَهُ ذَلِكَ, and so on and so forth. All these things that you control over, is it absolute? No, it is not absolute. Why? هُوَ تَدْبِيرُ الضَّيِّقِ. It is what? A restricted type of control. Mahdud, it is limited. Muqayyad, غير مطلق, not absolute. Not absolute. Your wealth, even in Nigeria, you cannot spend your wealth the way you like. Even in Nigeria. Because if you use your money to do something that is against the state, that the state has not approved of, you will be charged. If you build a house on a sewage pipeline, your house will be demolished. You are restricted on how to use your property, your land, but the government, the development control is having a control over you that have your land, and they tell you cannot go beyond 2 floors in this land, and they are telling you that you cannot have this number of buildings in this plot of land. It's your land, but you are restricted. Malan na dariya saboda development control sun sa ni gaba wajen approval ko. They are telling you it's your, for example, your land. Maybe you bought it with your money or someone gifted it to you or you inherited it. But you cannot do what you like on that land. They tell you have to go to development control here in Abuja and you have to look for land use. And the government has land use act. If that land is for educational purpose, duk iya sallan ka baka saka gina masallaci a wajen ba. To kuma land ɗinka ne, kuma kuɗinka ne, but you don't have, it is restricted. But Allah, that is the sole owner of Nigeria, the sole owner of Abuja, the sole owner of the entire world. When Allah decides what He decides, when Allah decides what He decides, is there anyone that can veto the decision of Allah? Can't you see that the control of affairs that Allah has over things is absolute? In Surah Al-Rahman, Quran chapter 50, Quran chapter 55, Allah yubarik fik. Allah said, what did Allah say? Kulla yawmin. At each time, at each moment, each day, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is involved in one affair or the other. Allah is raising the status of this person, is controlling the affairs. Allah is debasing this person. Allah is commanding that this person's death occurs, the other person, Allah is giving life to another person. As this neighbor is celebrating the birth of a new child, this neighbor is crying at the demise of the beloved one. As this person is crying of the loss of his property, this person is celebrating the contract that he's gotten. As this person is being honored, this person is being dishonored, is being debased. As this person, kulla yawmin huwa fi sha'n. This is Allah. This is Allah, but this type of knowledge about Allah will not take you to Jannah. The next type of Tawheed that we are going to discuss, that is the Tawheed for which purpose Allah created us. That is what? Our statement, Shaykh Uthaymeen said, فَظَهَرَ بِذَلِكَ صِحَّةُ قَوْلُنَا إِنَّ تَوْحِيدَ نعم فظهر بذلك صحة قولنا إن توحيد الربوبية هو إفراد الله تعالى بالخلق والملك والتدبير فهذا هو التوحيد الربوبية. He said you can now see, and this stands to prove that our statement that Tawheed al-Rububiyyah is to single out Allah with creation, sovereignty and control of affairs is true. We are not lying. This is the meaning of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. This is what? The meaning of Tawheed al-Rububiyyah. How many more minutes to the call of Salah? Now, when it's time. So because I don't want us to enter the third type of Tawheed today, we stop here. And at this juncture now I will chip in something that definitely people know that I'm going to talk about it. And Sheikh, you are recording it. We keep talking about the issue of Tawheed, and we keep encouraging people to learn about Tawheed, and we keep being very, we ask Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala to give us, consistency on this issue of Tawheed. Why? Because without it, you will not go to Jannah. If you listen to wazi, lectures, sermons on how to behave with your wife, how to live as a good husband, or how to live as a good wife, or how not to lie, or how to give charity, or where to give charity, or how to live with your Christian neighbors with justice, or how to live with your neighbors, or how to be a truthful person. If we tell you all these things, and the scholars keep preaching about all these things, and you become a very good person, you don't lie, you don't drink alcohol, you don't commit zina, you don't cheat. Oh yeah, you're wealthy, you give sadaqah because they preach in the masjid on the importance of giving charity. You give zakat, you went for hajj, you went for umrah, you fasted the month of Ramadan. But all these things are automatic. All these things, you spend your time doing all these things, but you don't have tawheed. You don't worship Allah alone. You don't know what tawheed is. You don't know who Allah is. You don't know the categories of tawheed. You don't know the pillars of tawheed al-rububiyyah. You don't know the pillars of tawheed al-uluhiyyah. You don't know what is tawheed asma'i wa sifat. You don't know what it entails to understand tawheed al-asma'i wa sifat. You don't know all these things, but you do all these beautiful things. You are truthful, you are nice, you put smile on the faces of people, you help the poor, the needy, you do all these things. You pray 5 times a day. But do you know the amazing thing? When you die, the first domicile is what? In the hadith of Uthman bin Affan, he said, he had the Prophet ﷺ said, so is the first domicile. The Prophet didn't say so, but because it's a class, I want you to tell me, what is the first stopover that you have when you're traveling? This is the world. We are all travelers. That is why the Prophet ﷺ said anyway, we are all travelers. But what is we have stopover before we reach our destination. What is that stopover? What? Barzakh. وَمِنْ وَرَائِهِمْ بَرْزَخْ إِلَى يَوْمٍ يُبْعَثُونَ. Surah Al-Mu'minun, Quran chapter 23. So that stopover that we have. Imagine you traveling and you have to go through immigration and they check your documents. Once the visa is not correct, once the passport has expired, once the visa, what happens? Do they even consider you for traveling? Cancelled. So when you die, what is the first place that you go to? Where is the first place? Qabr, barzakh. Whether you are buried, whether in the belly of fish, whether in an ocean, whether you were blown away, a plane crash, whatever way that Allah has decreed that you're going to live this world, anyway, you're not going to avert it. We only pray that we die in the state of Iman. But if Allah has willed that you're going to die in a particular way, there is no one that can avert that. You only hope that you die in a good way with your Iman intact. Now back to what I was saying. In that barzakh, in that qabr, when the angels come to ask you, the only thing, and I've said this before, the only thing they're going to ask you, they're not going to ask you about you being nice to your parents. They're not going to ask you about you being nice to your wife. They're not going to ask you about you being nice to your neighbors. They're not going to ask you about the charity that you've given. They're not going to ask you about you being truthful individual. They're not going to ask you about the prayer that you've done. They're not going to ask you about the zakat that you've given. They're not going to ask you about the masajid that you've built. They're going to ask you about tawheed. Man rabbuk, ma dinuk, man nabiyuk. That is the only question they're going to ask you. Usulu thalatha. If you don't know these answers, your case is closed. Nothing more. No salah, no zakat. So when we say people that have been talking to you about zakat, people that have been talking to you about how to live nicely with others, people that have been talking to you about charity, about being a nice individual, about being truthful, have they been nice to you because they have not talked to you about tawheed? Have they been nice to you? Do they really want you to be in Jannah? Because the angels are not going to ask you about your zakat in qabr. They're not going to ask you about you being nice to your neighbors. They're going to ask you about tawheed, but they're not teaching you tawheed, and they don't want us to talk about it. And they say, when we talk about it, we're bringing the vision, tawheed, unity. But because of the twist and the understanding of most people, tawheed that is meant to unite, they see tawheed as what changes. And that is what happens. When you leave the path of Allah, you lose your criterion, furqan, to judge between what is right and what is wrong. So you start seeing good people as evil and evil people as good. You start seeing good as evil and evil as good. Because you have lost your criterion to judge between right and wrong. In tattaqullah yaj'al lakum furqana. If you fear Allah, Allah is going to give you the criterion to judge between right and wrong. Do we really fear Allah? Now, if you pass this test of tawheed, if you don't pass tawheed, you have not gotten your WAEC examination, your WAEC certificate, F9, everything, no admission to university. If there is admission and they give you admission, that is the first step. What is the next thing? They start looking at other things now. The first thing is what? You submit your CV, they give you a job. When you come, they now do what? Verification. They now start checking other things that you have. Now, tawheed is that first thing. Wallahi al-azim. I swear by Allah, I'm swearing because it's the issue of tawheed. It's an absolute thing. Penabdul does not have any opinion when it comes to tawheed. Nobody, not even a scholar, can stop you from talking about tawheed, because it is Allah that has commanded us to talk about tawheed. There is no single individual in this world that can stop you from talking about tawheed, because the command to speak about tawheed is from Allah. And it has been given to all messengers, and the scholars are the inheritors of the messengers. The students are following the footsteps of the scholars. And if we want to reach that level, we have to do what the prophets did. They called people to tawheed. Wallahi, if you don't know tawheed, let all the preachers be preaching to you about how to live nicely, so that feel cool Islam, emotional Islam, mesmerizing Islam, oratory type of Islam. This type of Islam, it will not take you to Jannah, because you only feel cool, but you have forgotten about the main issue, tawheed. Just as if you have not gotten your A+ in courses, or you have not passed with minimum pass, yes, they are not going to admit you. So your case is closed. Now the Prophet, in the hadith of Bara bin Azib, which has been authenticated by Shaykh Nasiruddin al-Albani in Sahih al-Jami in the 2nd volume. Originally the hadith is in the Musnad of Imam Ahmad. It is in the Sunan of Ibn Majah and others. The Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam now said, they will now say, furnish this person with the furnishing of Jahannam. Open a door for him from the doors of Jahannam, and the heat, the fearsome heat of Jahannam will blow into his qabr, because he doesn't have tawheed. That is the first step. The one that has passed the tawheed test in qabr, on Yawm al-Qiyamah, the hadith now, the Prophet ﷺ now told us. I think the hadith is in Silsilat al-Sahihah of Shaykh Nasiruddin al-Albani, if I'm not mistaken. The first thing that you will be judged by on Yawm al-Qiyamah is your salah. It's not in qabr, it's Yawm al-Qiyamah now, but you have to pass through qabr. Qabr is tawheed. When you qualify now, when you stand on Yawm al-Qiyamah, then they start looking at your prayers. If you don't pass tawheed, no need of looking at your prayers. And even your prayers now, the Prophet ﷺ says, is sulahat. If your prayer is good, every other thing will be good. Every other thing will be good. But if there is problem in your salah, then every other thing will be lost out. But even your salah, I discussed this yesterday in our Arba'una Hadith session. Even your salah, the fara'id that you do, it is incomplete, because nobody can pray exactly the way the Prophet ﷺ prayed. So your nawafil, tatawwa, the Prophet ﷺ said, they will ask, does my servant ask of, do you have anything of supererogatory prayers? And they will look at that to complement your obligatory prayers that are not complete. But what am I saying? Tawheed first in qabr, salah first in qiyamah. So, Tawheed is very important. Fear Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. We ask Allah to choose us among those people that will propagate Tawheed. For its sake, we ask Allah to accept it from us. We ask Allah to take our souls while we are on this service of His. Let us all aspire to know Allah. And we cannot know Allah unless we seek for knowledge. Seeking for knowledge is not a day's job. Seeking for knowledge means you have to humble yourself before scholars. Seeking for knowledge means you have to ask questions. Seeking for knowledge means you have to dedicate your life to it. It is not a 2-hour thing. It is not a 1-hour thing. It is not a lecture jamboree. It is not something you do today and that's the end of it. It is something that you dedicate your time to. If you don't know Allah, nobody can come to your rescue. So please, I'm begging you, I don't have anything against anyone, but I only desire good for everyone just as much as I desire it for myself. And I know there is no good in a person that does not have Tawheed. And there is all good in everyone that has Tawheed. Hence, I implore one and all to seek for the true knowledge of what Tawheed is. I implore one and all to know what Aqidah of Ahlus Sunnah wal Jama'ah is. Because you have a lot of people, and I say this, you get confused and you get carried away by preachers that use sweet words. And they will not tell you their Aqidah when they are preaching to you. But do you know what the danger is? When they preach to you and they use lies, because Abul Faraj in Kitab al-Mughliq, in the disturbance of the earth, in the Muqaddimah, he said this qusas, this storytelling preachers, they tell you fabricated stories. And one of them testified to that. One of the famous preachers, he testified to that when someone challenged him. He said, yeah, he just cooked it up to draw out the moral lesson. Even for Abul Faraj, even before Ibn Taymiyyah, he told us this. In his Kitab, the disturbance of the earth. But again, when they tell you these mesmerizing stories and emotionally packed stories and say, oh my God, and they come across emotional, you shed tears. That is the essence. When YouTube and start looking for their lectures, because now he has caught you, that is the first dose. And when you go to YouTube, what happens? You start listening to their lectures until you listen to that, and they keep their Aqidah keeps entering you. Before you know what's happening, you have become what? A person of bid'ah. Before you know what is happening, you have left the manhaj of Salafus Salih. So my brothers and sisters, beware. Know who you listen to. Don't listen to any Bakr, Zaid and Amr. It's not everyone that has beard and speaks Arabic and speaks English and speaks Hausa that is worth listening to. It's not everyone. Don't be deceived. You don't know anything about architecture, for example. You have never had, and me being an architect, then you call me to come and deliver a lecture to you that doesn't know anything about architecture. But they say, oh, this guy is a professor in architecture. Then I sat you down in a room. Then I kept lying. I kept lying to you. And because I spoke so well, so eloquently, well, you said, wow, that guy is a master speak giver. But you don't know. Tomorrow again, if I say I'm going to deliver a talk on architecture, you will want to attend. Until someone nudges you and tell you that, but until a superior person or someone that knows architecture said, he has been lying to you. And you say, but I didn't know. But you've thought I've spoken to you brilliantly, well, and you were moved by my speech. And you say, Kai, that guy is very good. Look at the way he described architecture. Look at the way he explained this concept to me. But because he didn't know anything about architecture, so I've lied to you. It takes someone that knows something about architecture to tell you that this is a lie. So it takes someone that knows something about Aqidah and Tawheed. It takes someone that knows Sunnah to tell you that this is Bid'ah. It takes someone that knows Tawheed to tell you that this is Shirk. If you don't know Tawheed, how can you be able to tu'raf al-ashya bi'adadiha? Things are better understood by their opposite. If you don't know Sunnah, how can you know Bid'ah? If you don't know Tawheed, how can you know Shirk? So you listen to a lot of these people that have dodgy Aqidah, but you don't know. But because you don't know what the authentic Aqidah is. For example, I'm not saying you are ignorant. I'm not talking to you. It's a generic statement. I'm not better than anyone here, but it's a generic statement. So let us all learn and seek for Allah's assistance while learning, and seek for steadfastness, because none of us is assured of dying as a believer. We have to strive. We don't know what's going to happen to us tomorrow. The fitna is coming. And that is why the Prophet ﷺ keeps praying, وَلَا تَجْعَلْ مُصِيبَنَا فِي دِينِنَا. Do not make my trial to be in my religion. May Allah make us steadfast. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala take our souls in the best way. Subhanakallahumma bihamdika ashhadu an la ilaha illa anta astaghfiruka wa atubu ilayk.